Yeah, this is just the default
That's
background.
oh, that's okay.
That, and I did kind of drop this on him at the last minute.
Yeah, he literally dropped it on me like freaking 4 hours ago or some shit.
Wait. There's a thing. Hold on. What's the thing? A king. I could just channel and then slash host. That's the thing I can do.
Yay!
Totally forgot that that's possible.
I never forget that. Ugh.
I'm still like getting used to Twitch because Twitch is so much different than YouTube.
This,
Oh, don't get me wrong, but the bar for entry is much lower.
That's true.
definitely. Though, I'll definitely say like streaming wise, like Twitch has got it like nailed down, like over YouTube in my opinion.
Yeah, that's very true. Because I mean, for the longest time, I've always had issues with streaming on YouTube,
Mm.
but it's where like the largest percent of my following is, so I still need to do it on there.
Yeah,
So
it's weird. It's just like I feel like if I was to stream on YouTube, I might get more traffic. But I just find streaming on Twitch is just so much easier.
yeah, it's honestly like if I just want to play video games and relax, I'll stream on Twitch. But if I am like trying to do something, important or trying to do something for charity, then it's either restream or I'm going to be streaming on YouTube.
Which
Oh
you
shit,
can't
Brian's here.
restream anymore. Brian?
Wait, restream's down?
No, it's actually well, that's something to talk about later. Oh,
Oh,
can, can you
Yeah,
note that? Talk about that later.
it's a terms of service thing that somebody brought out, and now we're kind of screwed.
oh.
Basically, be thankful you haven't used it
Yeah.
I did once. Once.
recently.
Again, we'll,
Recently.
we'll 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 talk about it later. It's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine.
The suspense is killing me.
Alright, have I finished spamming everywhere? Oh, so no, we've got to tell these people.
And... I really wish I had like a countdown timer or some shit.
Yeah, we need a countdown timer. The closest thing I've got is the actual clock on the
It's 5 o'clock.
5
Time.
Time. Ding,
time
ding,
time
ding.
time. There's the time. It is now 10 p.m. here in GMT, 5 p.m. EST. Welcome to the Furcast, folks. I'm joined as always by Gerald and special guest Mark's Box. Welcome to the show.
Hey, yeah.
Ugh, crumbs. Yeah, 2 weeks since last did this. Confuzzle kind of got in the way. So did trying to recover from said convention. But no, hopefully have a nice relaxed streams. Got some interesting stories lined up for sure. I'm just gonna go ahead and kick this right off. So
Also, apparently, my persona reminds Brian of Star Wars.
I can see why.
Yeah.
I can see why.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Anyway,
first story is sort of game related. It is kind of funny as well, but it was. I did find it amusing. I thought I've got to talk about this straight off the bat. So, kid gets in trouble at school after calling classmate Hanzo main. Overwatch devs respond.
oh,
So,
fucking Christ.
this little girl's clever insult towards a classmate landed her in hot water. And after another student stole her pencil, she called him a Hanzo main and got into trouble from her teacher for the insult. As far as insults go, especially when it comes to online games, this is about as tame and clever as you're going to get. But obviously, the teacher is a total noob. In the teacher's note to the parents, they even admit they don't know what a Hanzo main is, but it was clearly meant as an insult. How hard would it?
Kivuli, are you sure we didn't skip an hour and went into Not the Onion? Because this is already making me lose my faith in humanity.
I'm positive this is not from Not an Onion. This is something I found.
Wait, okay, hold on. So, like, I got in trouble in school for internet bullying in 2009. So now it's just gone from there to considering being a bully
It,
by calling somebody a Hanzo
it's not
maiden?
even bully.
Oh shit!
Literally,
Yeah,
the teacher.
that's right. That's right. You would have graduated. I'm sorry. I would have graduated when you were a sophomore. So that's when they started bringing in internet bullying.
Yeah.
I never had to experience that. I still went through like actual like beating the shit out of people fights and almost threw a chair at somebody. That was funny. No,
But
it wasn't.
but no, literally, the parents' note is basically another student took her pencil and she referred to him as a Hanselmain. I have no idea what this means, however, it was clearly meant as an insult. So the teacher has no clue what this little girl's on about, but it's just because it sounded like an insult she got in trouble. But the mother is just like, my daughter got in trouble for calling a kid who stole a pencil a Hanselmain. My husband and I have been laughing for half an hour. And the devs of Overwatch responded as, while we don't support name calling and do support Hanselmains, we love where your daughter's head is at.
That's pretty good.
So I'll post the link in the Twitch chat now, just so you guys can see it as well. I literally saw that and thought, that is just genius. It's like, how would I respond, like, if that was my kid? I'm just like, okay, yeah, you might be suspended from school for 2 days, but you're not grounded. Here, go play some Overwatch.
But here's what I would respond. It's like, you didn't have to scream. But at the same time, your teacher's a fucking idiot.
Well, we don't know how old the teacher is. I mean, they're probably the generation that doesn't play like video games in that way, shape, or form, because Overwatch is still a fairly new game.
Well, I understand that, but at the same time, it's like Google exists for a reason.
Yeah, that's something the teacher didn't even bother like asking the girl what the hell they're on about, and it's just like, no, it sounds like an insult. You're in trouble. But it's still funny. It's just like, I just don't know how I'd react. I'd probably go with the teacher and just go, look, just calm down. It's a joke.
Yeah. I mean, that was like the whole silly bands craze too.
The what,
When
sorry?
silly bands were a thing back in when I was in, I think, middle school.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The little silly bands are like you can put them on your wrist, but when you take them off, they're like make a shape or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, right.
Like
And it was a thing where people would collect so many of them that you wouldn't be able to see their arms because of how many silly bands there were.
I think I heard something similar to that in the UK. Also, just quickly saying, Grays and Draken Wolf, thank you very much for the follows, and Bean Machine 2 for the 10 biddies, thank you very much.
10 biddies.
10 little biddies.
See, I told you you would get stuff for MFF. Problem is, these bits are probably going to come in 2 months later.
Hey, it's 10 bits. It's a stepping stone. I'll take the 10 bits. But no,
By
that
the way, guys,
Hmm?
if you want to donate to Kivuli and help him and help me get him to MFF this year to meet all of you American lovelies and some Brits that are coming over from overseas and paying a lot of money, hit that donate button down below. The money goes straight to him with a cut from Streamlabs, but still, it's the best way of supporting some of your favorite streamers like myself, Mark Sparks, and Kivuli. Though Mark and Kivuli could probably use that a lot more than I do because I have a full-time job and they don't.
way to rub in the little bit of salt in the wound, you bastard.
I'm not rubbing salt in the wound. I'm giving him a legitimate reason. Mark has bills to pay.
That is very
Yeah. But no, if that did happen, guys, it would be highly appreciated. Though I will just say this now, just as a caveat, if for whatever reason I did not hit the goal for MFF, trust me, that money would be going towards another con somewhere down the line.
It'd totally be going towards CF, wouldn't it?
More than likely.
I could go towards my plane ticket to CF, because I'm going next year.
Yes. Woo! Anyway, that's the first story over. Kid got in trouble for calling somebody a Hanselmain. Marks, if you want to take us with your first story, please.
Yeah, so, oh god. So, Anthony Bourdain, who was one of the most, like, in my opinion, he was kind of a revolutionary chef. He was in Parts Unknown and things like that. He recently died, actually, I think it was yesterday or this morning. But the apparent cause of death is suicide. And Even though it's not for sure, it's pretty much what they're saying for now. But it's crazy because like a lot of people didn't really know who Anthony Bourdain was, but he was somebody who everybody saw because he did Parts Unknown, which was had so many like Emmy awards, and also he got a Peabody award for it. Like it was one of the most revolutionary food series. But his story is crazy.
It's
And
like I've heard the name a little bit myself. When you say it, did obviously, I was like, I'm sure I've heard that somewhere before, but to hear that's happened, it's like, damn.
yeah, like you know, I did a video on it recently talking about how depression and stuff is apparent in the fandom, but it's also like it's just heartbreaking to hear it when you hear somebody like Anthony Bourdain, who's traveled the world, been to over like 40, 50 countries in the past 4 years. It's so heartbreaking to hear that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's kind of like what happened when Robin Williams passed away a while ago.
Yeah.
it's like you wouldn't have thought it just how like the type of people they were and how they act and everything like that, but sometimes you just can't tell, and when it happens, it really hits home.
Yeah. I mean, it's because like the thing with Anthony Bourdain is that like he has kind of like a crazy side story that most people don't know. And I think it's just because like most people saw the culinary side of him and never really went like and looked at him or looked him up. But the guy like he's been doing culinary stuff for like 40 years, and he didn't get noticed until 20 years into his culinary stuff, into his culinary like career.
Hmm. I mean, well, it happens. I mean, I think that's true for like a lot of like chefs who are like big names. I mean, I know from reading like his autobiography, like Gordon Ramsay took a while to even get like his foot on like going. I mean, granted, it's something he aimed for originally, so it didn't take as long as 20 years, but it wasn't something that happened overnight. And even then,
Yeah.
it still took years for people to recognize the name. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a shame it took so long for him to get recognized. Um, and of course, it's heartbreaking what's happened, but the fact that he still had an impact and he's done these amazing things, that's a legacy to live up to.
Yeah. That's very true.
Oh,
And so, because of this story, we all thought it would be fitting to go ahead and put a link to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
yep.
You can make a donation there if you'd like. Just in general, learn a little bit more about what to look for when it comes to suicidal tendencies or depression or any kind of these things, um, and just to prevent this kind of stuff from happening. Because people that are like this, they need to know that somebody is there for them. They need to know that they matter to people, and they just need like that reassurance that they're going to be missed if they go, if they make that decision. Because I know that, especially myself, I know that I've been in that kind of position. And Kavili, I'm pretty sure you told me you've been in that position before.
Yeah. That was quite a good few years ago now. I don't want to be in that position again. I know exactly what it's like, so it's part of the reason I'm always at the other end of like Telegram, Discord. If people want to talk or vent, it's why I say that, because I know what it's like sometimes. It's that simple.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something that a lot of people, like including myself, have to go through and have gone through. Um, and it's always just I don't know. It's
It's hard to put into words, it, for sure,
yeah,
but it's
cause
important to remember that side of things. Like, be there for people.
yeah,
So
But yeah, at the end of the day, check out Anthony Bourdain's stuff and make sure like he's kept his mark in the world. And of course, Foundation for Suicide Prevention. make that donation if you've got the pockets for it, etc., etc.
Yeah, definitely. And the link, like I said, Gerald's posted the link there in chat, so please go ahead and throw some money towards it. I will be doing so. When my next money comes in, whenever that may be. Also, just noticed Zippy has just raided us for 9 people as well. Nice time,
Oh,
Zips.
geez, we got 26 people in this
Jesus.
stream. Holy shit!
How long can we keep them here?
I don't know.
But no, welcome people, welcome, welcome, welcome. You've just at the start of the show. Lilibus here, hello, hello. People saying hi. Oh, I've missed a lot of messages actually. Uh, Also missed a lot of follows. Jesus. Matthew Galino, Sir Boomtix, the true, the True Dude, True Doon TV. Thank you very much for
Trude on TV.
Trude on TV. I don't know. I'm trying to read this. Thank you very much for the follows. Appreciate. Thank you very much. And there's the drunk zippies. I wondered how long it would take.
Oh, here comes the tuna meme.
No tuna memes. Jero, if you see tuna, you please remove the messages.
How do I remove individual messages? That's the problem.
I don't know.
Do I right click on? No, okay.
We'll work it out as we go. But
I figured it out.
yay! Thank you.
Sorry, Brian. I had to time you out, boyo.
But Jero, over to you with your first story, please.
I just realized I accidentally timed out Brian twice. Oh fuck! I was trying to untime you out. I'm sorry.
Just leave it be and move
Okay,
along.
So in terms of tech news today, you know how you've got your really fancy gaming computer? Maybe you got it from Asus, or maybe you got a really nice Asus laptop or something like that. Guess what? Asus made a damn phone.
Ooh, hello.
Here is the tech news from this phone thing, and we got another follow.
Oh, we have crumbs. Oh my god, names. Oh no, Suda Hukuna has followed. Thank you very much, Suda. GVH Wolf has followed, and Flashhound has hosted with one viewer of himself. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Anyway, so this phone is ridiculous because there's been a push recently to make gaming grade phones. It's been ridiculous. You have Razer with their a gaming phone, which is pretty much destroyed anything in the normal market, and now you've got this thing which destroys basically everything, even mid-tier laptops. It's got everything from a really nice graphics processor and a standard CPU in there, to even vapor chamber cooling. If you don't know what vapor chamber cooling is, it's what that massive heat block is in your computer. The only difference is it's really small and it's crammed into this phone. So we are talking about stuff like there is an attachment that comes with it that has the USB and headphone ports go out the side of it, so you can turn it sideways for standard gaming. Maybe you're playing Fortnite or PUBG Mobile. I don't know why they fucking made that. Maybe you've got one of these other accessories, which there's an accessory that integrates it into your computer, or you can put it onto your TV, or you can just straight up replace all of that and make that your desktop and plug a keyboard into it, with a whole dock and everything, and that's just your main processing. Or even controllers that you can put onto the sides that have your own customizable inputs, so that it's actually a full game controller, except it's also the phone. It's like a Nintendo Switch. It's like a Nintendo Switch, but it's so
It's
small.
your phone.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they haven't given us prices yet, but I'm expecting it to be really damn expensive.
Oh
I
yeah.
have a feeling this is Asus being hey, you remember PSPs? Well, imagine PSPs, but you can answer your phone on it.
I mean,
no, it's the PS Vita.
Oh god. Ooh.
I'm gonna touchscreen. It bombed.
Well, it's got the specs here. Processor, 2.96 GHz quad-core Snapdragon. GPU is a Qualcomm Adreno. 200 gram weight. 8 gigabytes of RAM. Storage is
That's the biggest.
128 gigabytes or 512. Wireless 802 AD, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 5. It's got a headphone jack. This is a powerful little piece of shit.
It has a headphone jack.
Oh
Fuck
yes.
you, Apple.
Oh my god.
And it has not just one, but two USB Type-C ports. One on the side for that adapter,
Yep.
and then one in the normal place for charging.
Yep.
Actually, I think it's got three.
That's just
It's
it's
hella
just it's a lot of really cool shiny stuff, and I kind of I want this now. Like
If it's not waterproof, then I could not get it.
why not? Why is that the deal breaker? I'm curious now.
I am the worst with phones. Like I got the iPhone 10 because I was like, man, they say it's more indestructible than the last iPhone that I bought, and I've already gotten like the screen protector's already cracked up, and I bought it like a month ago.
Always go Samsung, dude. Go Samsung.
Yeah, just
Well,
don't iPhone.
I had a Samsung Galaxy S5 or S4, and I literally dropped it once, and I had just bought it, and it immediately got destroyed.
Ooh.
Yeah, I have a Samsung S7 Edge with a commuter OtterBox case. I've dropped it a couple times, but nothing like ridiculous like on the screen rating. But as long as you keep the edges safe and like have a screen protector on it, it should be fine. As long as you're like not throwing that shit.
Don't throw
Oh.
your phone. Bad idea.
Two other features for this thing. One is a gaming mode where if you like squeeze the sides of it, you'll notice the entire aesthetic turns from like this cool like blue color to red, just straight up red.
Oh
And
yeah, I
that's
quickly
like,
scrolled down and saw that. I was like,
yeah, that is like um, performance mode right there. And then on top of that, because everything gaming has to have RGB lighting, it's got RGB lighting for the logo on the back of it. And
because why
it has
wouldn't you?
and it has RGB lighting for that sideways adapter that comes with it. This thing's goddamn ridiculous.
Yeah, Asus was just like, man, we haven't been producing good computers in a while, so you know what? Fine, let's just throw some shit into a phone, make it the ultimate phone, and then.
I
sell
want
phones,
one.
guess.
It is, even just for the even just so I can go around and tell people I have this. I want one. It's just ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Oh, also, Jesus Christ, I've just had blings in my ears for the last like 5 minutes. By the way, so we have got Jerry the Mouse, B Machine 2, Vanman 8885, and Julie the Wolf have followed. Thank you very much. We also have hosts from AJ Firewolf and Van Man as well. Thank you so much for the host, guys. Really appreciate it.
Hi, AJ.
Oh, crumbs. Next topic. Okay, Marks, chat. I do apologise for what your ears might be about to hear. You're probably about to listen to Jero scream in rage. I do apologise for this. It is part of the reason I picked this next topic. Because, I'm sorry, this shit be funny, yo. So, are you ready for this, Jero?
What is it? Lay it on me.
Did gay sex cause Hurricane Harvey or was it climate change? Some on the right blame LGBT Americans. No, seriously. LGBTQ Americans have caused the country billions of dollars in structural damage, killed dozens of people, and displaced thousands more from their homes, according to evangelical figures who believe gay people caused Hurricane Harvey. Despite overwhelming evidence that adverse weather and climate change had a hand to play in the storm that devastated parts of Texas, numerous voices emerged that suggested the biblical proportions of the flood were, well, literally biblical. Among those crying signs be damned and waving their pitchforks in the general direction of the LGBT community over the past week were Minister Kevin Swanson, who believes the Bible preaches death to gays, and similarly delightful radio host Rick Wiles, who thinks Ebola would be handy way to wipe out the LGBT community.
So wait, is this why the Earth is flat?
I can hear Jero. I can hear her. He's winding up.
This is why I'm an atheist.
Also,
this is why I'm a decent human being.
I've just posted the wrong link in chat. I do apologize. Let me just reset that. I've posted the link from before.
Do you even science, bro?
Do you?
Know how rain works?
It's because of them gays. Got them gays causing the damn dead hurricane to do.
I could fucking reproduce a storm in a tube. I can do it for you. I can show you how clouds work.
Yeah, but that
Right
was
before your
caused.
eyes.
That was caused by gay sex.
Also, I've just noticed, Tobias, the sex must have been truly biblical.
Yeah, I love that.
AJ Fire, I'm
AJ,
sure.
That was me slamming my head against the desk.
So, hang on.
Well, people are stupid. No, people are fucking indoctrinated.
So, hang on. So, in the last two Furcasts, we've had two stories which have generally been what the fuck. We've had gays causing hurricanes, and the best way to reduce school shootings is to reduce the number of doors.
Don't even get me started.
Why are these things? Why? I'm like, alright. I
For those of you confused in chat, because I know Suda's mentioning doors, if you look in videos, the last Furcast, I kid you not, there was a topic that came up that someone thought the best way to reduce school shootings was reduce the number of doors in the school for shooters to get in. Jero lost his shit.
I mean,
Mark.
tactically speaking, it sounds like it's a good thing, but that's not.
It's a school. It's not a military base.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine, because like my school was like the first high school I went to was like 2000. Imagine 2,000 kids trying to fit in 2 doors.
Yeah. That was my comment. That was my comment. I mean,
Which then just creates a fatal funnel, which then makes it less tactically secure.
Guys, I'm gonna build my own school building. It's gonna have one door in and out. It's gonna have absolutely no windows. I'm gonna build it in the south of America. So when the next hurricane blows over, I'm just gonna blame it on the white cis males.
No. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create a school, but instead of having doors, we're gonna cut a nice square shape into the wall. and that's how we're gonna reduce it, because there's not a door there. It's just a hole.
And then instead we're gonna replace that. Instead we're gonna replace that with a gate that has bars. This is very similar to another county design we've had. We made a while ago. Oh yeah, it's a jail.
Yeah, we'll have the bars on the square like cut opening that come down when everybody's inside, so it's nice and safe.
Oh god.
Let's create a Satanist only school.
Wait, what?
See, the thing, when it comes to news articles like that, like sometimes I'm just like, man, they probably just did this because they were like, man, this will get a lot of views. But then at the same time, I'm also like, I'm genuinely curious as to how they got the sources for this.
Well, the thing that gets me is like it's saying that apparently there was a minister and a radio host that believe this shit. It's like, how are these people in any form of like authority or power? I'm sorry, like fucking Southern America. What the fuck? Like, what goes on down there?
Well, I mean, you have a lot of things. You have Alex Jones, who's broadcasted in Georgia. That's a thing.
These scientists are actually working for the lizard people. And they are creating these false images of school shootings. And they're trying to get our guns taken away.
I still love the fact.
Touchy subject, but that's something you would say.
Jesus. It's
Feels
just.
like Alex. Alex Jones actually has admitted like admitted to liking being put in memes. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, Jesus. Just no.
Hilarious.
It's because it's advertising for a show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Uh, the thing so I'm now starting to get tempted every time I do a Furcast. I want to find one what the fuck story about America, and just listen to
Oh,
Gerald lose it.
you do not have a shortage of it. Trust me.
Oh,
Um,
I need one good one a week. I think this is the best one I dug up.
but yeah, in terms of this whole story about blaming storms on the gays, it's no different than saying that D&D is the work of the devil and shit like that. Because shoot, there is
Excuse me, how dare you insult
there
my
is an
pastime?
amazing there is an amazing movie, and by amazing, I don't mean it's good. I mean it's so bad it's good.
Oh,
Wait,
one
this
of
is
those
like came out
ones.
in the '70s, right?
It was a comic in the 70s known as a Chick Track. The story is made by Jack Chick, but this was made in a movie recently. JonTron did a review of it called it's either Darkest Dungeon or Dungeon. I would love to fucking do a riff track with a bunch of friends doing that someday. Just like have that on the screen, maybe live stream it because I know on Twitch you can sometimes live stream movies as the stream is deleted afterwards, especially if it's something that is, kind of lower end like this. But it's that where literally they were like, keep playing D&D and you'll bring back Cthulhu and that shit, and like the spells actually start to work.
Can you imagine
Wait.
if that was the case?
Cthulhu's not in the Bible.
No.
I don't know why. Maybe because of like H.P. Lovecraft kind of stuff, but like towards the end is like, bring out all of your occult readings and bring out your rock music and burn all those books and that kind of stuff. They have a literal book burning at the end of the film, and it was just like the way it was in the comic as well. And even like partway into the film, one of the characters, the actual people, committed suicide because her character died in the fucking roleplay, and she wasn't allowed to come back. And I'm sitting here going like, what the fuck? That's not how D&D works.
No, that's not how D&D works. Also,
D&D is not the cool kids club.
just want to quickly say hello to the new people who have just joined us in the chat. Come the Fox and got Leon is now hosting and Jalen is now hosting as well. Thank you very much, guys. Sorry, just quickly throwing that in there. Just before it goes off screen. But yeah. God damn it, America.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's all our fault.
I'm not saying that.
Nobody else has these problems.
I mean, okay, it probably is like there are people like that, like in the UK, like something goes wrong and they'll blame like the gays or
Spanish Inquisition. Sorry, what was that?
like bless you there.
Bless you.
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition or chief weapons or fear surprise in the LGBT community.
Crusades.
Okay, enough of that. Calm down, you. Sit down in the front row.
What? I'm just sneezing.
Mudbud Wolf has followed and hosted. Thank you very much.
I turned my mic up. Hopefully this is better.
Oh god.
People were complaining that they couldn't hear me.
Oh my god.
Wait, what? What's this happened?
A bunch of people were like, "We can't hear Mark." I'm like,
Oh yeah, I see that.
Mark super boosted his mic. That is, yeah, I can see you doing that.
Yeah, scroll up. It's Comet the Fox had to reset the TV because it was already taken. Alright, fair enough. AJ File, bless you, my child, you're now cured of your gay.
We shocked it right out of you.
we shot it right.
No, it's like how they cure cancer. It's like you don't have cancer when Jesus is led into your life, and the guy just like fucking pushes this poor woman's head, and she falls backward. For someone to like catch her at the last second, and then she dies 2 weeks later of a fucking tumor.
Oh Jesus.
Well, there was actually a news article for a lady who put in, I think it was like $48,000 into televangelists, and
Oh
then
my god, that's right.
because she had like they had found her cancer early on stage, and instead of going and getting the treatments, she listened to televangelists and donated all her money to televangelists to the point in which she actually died,
Jesus.
waiting because she couldn't afford treatment, but also she didn't want treatment because she believed in the televangelists.
Oh God.
Yeah.
For some reason, you actually just remind me of what you're saying about like, oh, like you don't need to cure cancer because you got Jesus and stuff like that. For some reason, what popped into my head was an episode of the show House. You know, like Hugh Laurie, like crazy, like basically Sherlock Holmes doctor. There was literally an episode where this like near enough kid was almost refusing treatment because he believes God will save him, and whatever like disease he had, he like touched like a cancer patient, and she felt better because whatever he had was killing her cancer. But he felt it was an act of God. That is literally what you remind me of right there. It's just, but
I
no,
mean, science is an amazing thing, but it's not fucking magic.
it's not magic. I don't believe in like the whole God and Jesus will cure you thing. A positive mental attitude helps. Like if you're just sitting in the corner thinking, all right, doom and gloom, that's it. Um, it's not gonna help. It really isn't. But no, science helps. Medicine does help. It's proven fact. Don't so.
Mudblood Wolf says, Mark, what is your favorite shotgun? That's an interesting question.
I mean,
Left field.
if you want to answer that question, Mark. Hello.
Did we lose Mark?
Wait! I had it
Oh,
muted.
there you
Oh,
are.
there we go.
I was trying to respond. My bad. I honestly don't really have a favorite, but if I'm talking like just guns in general, I like the look of the Spaz 12.
Ooh, Spaz 12 is a nice shotgun.
Yeah,
Not gonna lie.
My bad.
That does actually lead us into your next topic, I believe, though, Mark.
Yes, to an extent. So, for those of you who aren't in the military, there's a list of things that we have to do, or I had to do. I don't have to do it anymore, thank God. But there was a whole list of things that we had to do in the military, which are basically online internet certifications for things like don't drive and text, don't commit sexual harassment, know what an insider threat is, all that kind of stuff. And it seems like the Army has finally realized now that they are no longer anywhere near as useful as they used to be, and it's just basically wasting people's time. So they're actually getting rid of a couple of them. Basically, what they're doing now is they're rolling out a bunch of training programs that are no longer required by the United States Army. Now, what that means is that they're still available for units to say, hey, you still need to do this. But for right now, the Army's saying, oh, well, you don't have to do these anymore, according to us. So there's 3 of them that are mainlined from what I can understand, which is one of them's called TRIPS, which is the Travel Risk Planning System. And that's, I've had to fill that form out at least 30 times. And it's literally like, you're going somewhere? Okay. Where are you going? Do you plan to stop at any time? Are you taking people with you? And it asks you a bunch of things like that. And it's like, are you going to drink and drive?
Yes, that's a clearly smart idea if you're part of the military.
But the problem is that like some of these courses, right? Like the trips form that I would have to fill out every time I left for leave, that trips form alone takes 15 minutes to fill out.
That's if
And
it all
then-
runs smoothly.
Well, it's kind of like a liability waiver. Like I can see the legal reason why they would do it is like, you know, oh, this is a member of the military. They're totally representing. Nope, he signed this. He's not allowed to do it. I
Yeah.
can see that reason why.
Yeah.
but it gets to a point because like every year we would have to renew some of these, and I literally had a spreadsheet, like a 2-page spreadsheet of the ones that we had to do,
Oh,
and it literally takes like 2 weeks to actually continue and fill out, and so I'm actually really happy that they're actually getting rid of some of these because there's like the combat trafficking and persons training, which is called CTIP.
hmm
That actually is a 2 hour long course where you sit there and listen to an animatronic dude talk.
Oh god, that just sounds horrible on so many levels. Can we do?
You literally just sit there and hope and pray that it's gonna stop and let you go to the next slide.
Yeah, it sounds like living hell. So yeah, can we get rid of that, please? But yeah,
Yeah,
it's, especially like you're saying, if people have found ways to like you know get around the system in order to
oh
pass
yeah.
these tests. I mean, can you
There
imagine
was
if people did that for like I don't know, like a driving test or something? Like found a way to cheat like the 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 theory test.
yeah.
Like
The,
Jesus. And this
I
pe-
actually sorry.
No, I said it's like yeah, cheating on a driving test that's pretty bad. But people cheating on a test to literally get in the military, which is picking up a gun and potentially shooting people. Hell no! Can we please get rid of around that? Can we get around that, please?
So one of the courses that you have to learn, which is called SSD, which is Solid Soldier Development or something to that extent. No, Structured Self Development. You have to take it for every promotion that you get. And so, like, the problem with that is it's a 60-hour course that you have to go through online.
Ooh,
And if you mess up more than 2 times, then you have to talk to an administrator who's in Fort Gordon, Georgia, and try to get him to renew your account under your commander's signature for retesting.
wow, that's um, that's intense, but thorough.
So I found a way to cheat it.
Oh, okay. You just announced that live on stream.
Well, I pissed my commander off because it's something that like most people kind of know, but I'm not in the military anymore, so what
All
does
right.
it matter? So, because I was in the company one day and I was trying to help somebody do the test, and he was like watching behind me. I didn't see that he was watching. But what you do is you'll answer a question, you'll hit submit, you'll hit refresh, and then back, and it'll take you back to the same question, but you'll be answering that question for the question that you just answered.
All right. I get what you mean. Yeah.
So basically, you'll answer the same question 60 times and score a perfect score.
Wow. Wait, you would think that for something this important they would stress test that system and make sure that can't happen. You would think. That's just ridiculous. Also, Comet the Fox from New Zealand? Holy hell. Like, good morning? I mean, isn't it like stupid early over there or something? Jesus. And why is it Discord suddenly gone quiet? Hello?
I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
I literally thought I had a technical difficulties. I was about to flip onto the technical difficulty screen.
I mean, my voice connected went to red, so I stopped talking for a bit because I was like, oh no, if I talk, it's going to be all like 8-bit formed.
8-bit Marks box.
We'll get Android marked marks.
Oh, but no, yeah, if these tests are like getting like cheated on and they need to be removed or replaced or whatever, that sounds like a good plan overall. Because anyone might actually get some competent people in the military.
Well, I mean, even then, like, the structured self-development is actually really monotonous. Like, because there's 3 portions that are based on history,
hmm
which, in all honesty, have no complete bearing and effect on your current status as a non-commissioned officer.
Right.
Like, it's not like battle history or anything like that. It's like, what year was the Liberty Bell put in? It's like, fucking, I don't know.
Is this
Was
relevant?
this, Was this actually in the thing I just read? I don't know. I sat through it and clicked for 40 hours.
It's
God, I hate
it's
that.
it's like you use this information that's gonna be no help to you whatsoever.
Well, it's also like because the army has been trying to go digital for the longest time and not have to hire people to come out and do these things. Like in 2013 when I first got in, there was a huge push for all these online courses. So the stuff that we learned, in class was then transformed into an online course, and then it just became, how do I cheat the system so I can get through this as least painfully as possible?
Yeah, this is like, but you do not want that for like a military test.
Oh yeah, no, no, no. Everything that, as far as like, you know, bigger things like weapons qualification and things like that, none of that is online. It's all just the kind of mandatory la-di-da everyday stuff that is.
Even so, it's like as stupid information as you've just pointed out. It's still something you don't want idiots to skip past. Like,
Yeah.
so even so, it's a good way to get redefined basically. Um, yeah, Flash has pretty much answered the question. I could comment during the Discord. Um, I never have just random people on my Furcast. As it's usually always me and Jero. But sometimes we do have other people popping in. And like I said, this week, special guest. It's cool. Which special guest that was dropped on me literally 4 hours before the stream, and I was like, "Excuse me."
He's a popular.
Oh God, Popufer! Oh, notice me,
Stop.
senpai.
Don't do
He
that.
gets free tacos at Anthrocon.
I honestly abuse that.
Wait, hang on. I don't think I've heard this. I don't think I've heard
Okay.
this. I know this is usually end of stream, but I want to know this now. How the fuck do you get free tacos?
Okay, so there's a taco joint outside of Anthrocon called Condados.
Okay.
And Condados has this thing that if you tweet a picture of what you're eating or a tweet featuring them with their ad, they will give you a free taco. But
Oh, what?
the juxtapose is you have to have 1,000 Twitter followers.
Which, because you're Popufer, you do.
So I was literally like,
Can you give me an extra 850 followers, please?
Gerald wants that free taco, yo.
so like literally me, Majira, Spots, Booker, and like 2 other people. Oh, it was Dash and Maggie. We're all just sitting there and we're like, hey, can we get a taco per 1,000? Majira's like, I could have 20 tacos.
By the way, Kraz, yes, that is true. It is actually a thing. You'll follow me on Twitter. Well, thank you very much. Also follow Kiv. Please follow Kiv. If you're gonna
Yes.
follow one of us, you follow both of us. If you haven't already, also followed Mark Sparks as well.
Yeah.
For
But
those
it's
of you who
yeah.
came in from my tweet, follow these dudes. They're really awesome dudes. Like seriously.
Senpai noticed me. Also, Kraz has just asked as well, Marks. If you have a criminal background, can you still get in the military?
Yeah, so that is something. If it's a certain level of felony, like if it's a lower end felony or if it's a higher end misdemeanor, they will actually come up and say, you can join the service or you can go to jail.
Oh, that's interesting.
But the problem with that is that you have a lot of those people who get pushed in, right? And then they're like, oh, well, the army pushed me in here and gave me this crappy job, so then they go through basic training, and basic training shapens them up a little bit, and then once they get out of basic training, you have things like what happened at Fort Hood, where a master sergeant was literally pimping out his female soldiers below him.
Ooh,
Oh god.
Jesus.
Like that was an actual thing, and then Fort Hood also had the big drug problem where they found I think it was a specialist with like 60 pounds of meth.
Jesus Christ, that's
Christ.
Yeah,
he's going to jail
there's-
for a while. That's not just drug possession. That's like with intent to distribute.
Oh no, he's locked away at Leavenworth for the next like 20 years. He likely won't be seeing the light of day outside of Leavenworth.
That's
ridiculous.
hey, Brian Mullins is no longer banned from speaking.
I'm sorry, Brian.
Fucking 1,200 minutes.
I feel so
Not
bad.
minutes, seconds. Uh,
I'm a blood wolf.
hello. And Mark noticed me, Daddy. No, you. Oh, for God's sake.
I noticed
This
them,
is-
so.
This is a safe for work stream to an extent.
Yeah.
Like, swear words, yes. Oh, whoa, notices, get banned.
Yeah. My senior chief told me about a woman who joined the military and sold her body to gain 900k by the time she got caught. Damn.
Oh yeah, the master sergeant who did it at Fort Hood had gotten, because it was kind of a crazy system. What he would do is he'd promise these females that he would put them up for promotion and likely get promoted, because most of them were lower enlisted.
Yeah.
So they would have to do these acts in order for that. So the master sergeant was literally pimping these females out for promotions and then getting the profits from these individuals who he's pimping them out to. So he ended up making, I think it was like $2 million or something that he just had stashed.
Jesus Christ, that's disgusting. Like, on so many levels, because you're meant to, like, put some, like, trust in, like, the people above you in that sort of level. But at the same time, I'm sorry, are these females, like, that fucking shallow that they'll do this just to get a promotion?
Yeah, this should have been reported to higher ups.
Well, that's
I mean,
what ended up
here's the thing.
happening.
It sounds like victim blaming, and to an extent it is. But it's like, you know, these people need to be. They need to. This is why hashtag Me Too. This is why the Me Too movement is a thing. Is because women need to be empowered, or just people in general need to be empowered to like talk about, you know, potential for abuse and that kind of stuff. They need to be told somebody will believe them given that they have the proof and all of that good stuff. But at the same time, you don't want to go too far and you know have what happened to those boys from UVA, where one person that doesn't even exist accused them of rape. They actually wound up going to court. They got expelled. They got their lives ruined. They got their grants and their scholarships taken away, and they didn't even do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they weren't even at the supposed frat party.
So the
So-
army has made like great strides against that kind of stuff, because that happened I think in 2012 or 2013. I think it was like when I first joined. But like they've gotten this whole like sexual harassment assault response prevention program, and it's really great. Like they actually give a lot of crap, because the problem was with that specific incident that I mentioned earlier was that this person would report it to his higher ups, who were also getting some of the cut of the revenue, or getting some of the people that he was pimping out. So basically his whole entire chain was kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
So it literally took somebody who had just left the base, who was like, hey, I need to talk to an OSI, or I need to talk to a criminal investigator like now.
Yeah.
And so they actually did it, and that guy's he's in like Leavenworth for life. And a lot of the higher ups as well. There was like a command sergeant major and a colonel or something that got like they're in there for
Colonel?
life now. Yeah.
Jesus.
There was like a number of people who were kicked.
Just absolutely
God's sake.
mental.
I'm glad somebody figured that shit out.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
oof. Jesus.
But now there's a whole crazy system for sexual harassment now. Like you can literally, there's a phone number that you can just call at any time, and there'll be a dude, a police officer, who's just like, hey, what's up? And it's really awesome now in comparison to how it used to be.
It is like bloody crazy, especially just like if people start throwing around the like bloody rape word. It destroys people's lives. Like even if they did nothing, like just someone saying they did it when nothing happened, it just it ruins livelihoods. It's like a story I saw, like, was it earlier this year or like last year or something like that. It's like, oh, guy who was jailed for like 23 years on like rape charges is finally freed after the victim claimed in public that he didn't actually do a thing. It's just like,
Yeah.
There are assholes everywhere. We just need to make sure that one, we have the facilities to, you know, to help the actual victims, and two, that we always practice innocent before proving guilty.
oh yeah,
Because there are cases like Harvey Weinstein. There are cases like, what is his face? Bill Cosby and that kind of stuff. And then there are cases that are like on the opposite side of it, where it's literally just an innocent person that's been accused because, oh, I can get attention for this because everybody will support me. So it really just does fall to the everyday person to like actually take some time, you know, look at this story, or just not even give a shit.
yeah.
Because you know, I don't blame you if you don't look at any of these stories, or if you just want to stop watching the stream and it goes down to 2 viewers. Don't do that, by the way. Oh yeah, and now Morgan Freeman's getting.
Oh, no, that's I do not believe that for a fucking second.
Now hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm not inclined to believe that he's actually guilty of it either. But I'm not going to immediately discount the people that accused him of it. I don't see him doing that. Then again, people didn't see Bill Cosby doing that.
True.
So I want to wait until like some form of evidence has come out. Then again, with how quickly that story was swept under the rug, I'm inclined to believe it was fake.
Yeah, if it was true, I think the evidence of it would have come to light very, very fast. I
Yeah.
think it was just literally someone just crying for attention and picked on a very big, very well-known celebrity. Because hey,
Well, it
that's
was
how
a-
you get
it was
attention.
a number of people. It was a number of people that came out at the same time, and that's also kind of suspicious.
It's kind of suspicious, but again, if there's no evidence provided,
No, no, no. I mean, it's suspicious that all 5 of these people came out about the same story about the same time. It's one of those things. Anyway, moving on.
moving on. Yeah, we've hopped on this quite a fair bit, but it was I think it was kind of important to get into. Like it was a good side topic to talk about. So yeah, thanks for that, Mark. It actually worked out really well. Jero,
A tough discussion.
what?
I said a tough discussion and a tough pill to swallow, but we did it with these.
I'd
See you later, Brian.
Bye, Brian. Thank you for turning up. Right, Jero. Your last topic, please.
Well, time to reduce everybody's faith in technology. Scientists have created a murder-obsessed psychopath AI called Norman, and it learned everything it knows from Reddit.
Oh no.
Some people fear artificial intelligence, maybe because they've seen too many films like Terminator and iRobot where machines rise against humanity, or perhaps they spend too much time thinking about Roko's basilisk. I don't even know what that is. As it turns out, it is possible to create an AI that is obsessed with murder. And that's what scientists at Pinar Yanardar, I don't know how to pronounce it. Oh, not at. That's a person's name. Okay. Pinar Manuel and Iad did at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, otherwise known as MIT, when they programmed an AI algorithm by only exposing it to gruesome and violent content on Reddit, then called it Norman. The reference there is Norman Bates, who was the killer in the classic horror film Psycho. And Dracon has a headache. I hope you get some ibuprofen for that, my dude. Don't hurt yourself for that. Let's see here. Norman was I literally just said this. Norman was named after the character Norman Bates from Psycho and represents a case study on the dangers of artificial intelligence gone wrong when biased data is used in machine learning algorithms. So this is actually very interesting because it's like taking the machine to the extremes and seeing what it would do. Who gave these people the rights to be scientists? No. I support this because it is a legitimate case study and it's like a proof of concept of, okay, we need to put safeties in place for like androids and AI and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because it's like what happened if you play Detroit Become Human and instead of wanting to be free, the robots just wanted to kill everybody, or the androids just wanted to kill everybody. That's following the violent path. Anyway, in the first ink blot, a normally programmed AI saw a group of birds sitting on top of a tree branch. Norman, however, saw a man is electrocuted and catches to death.
Hmm.
Wait, I don't follow Reddit, but now I'm interested. What happens in Reddit?
Okay, so on Reddit there are several different like subthreads and that kind of stuff. You can follow a bunch of different things. But for instance, we can actually make you a subreddit for your channel if you absolutely wanted to. But there are different subreddits for like general gaming, movies, GIF images. They're shared all over the place. Destiny has its own subreddit. Overwatch has its own subreddit. There's one for the PC Master Race. There's actually one for legal advice.
Huh.
So it's a bunch of this stuff, and it's all community driven. And there's also the dark side of it, where there's literally subreddits that are only full of like violent shit and that kind of stuff. So there is actually a furry subreddit, and I follow that one.
There's
But,
pretty much everything on Reddit if you look hard enough.
Yep. And we are going to be actually looking at one of those subreddits today after this story.
Yes.
But let's see here. Norman only observed horrifying image captions, so if it sees death in whatever image it looks at. I'm sorry, so it sees death in whatever image it looks at. You know what I mean? The internet is a dark place, and other AI experiments have shown how quickly things can turn when AI is exposed to the worst places and people on it. Microsoft's Twitter can turn when AI is. Microsoft's Twitter bot Tay had to be shut down within hours when it launched in 2016 because it quickly started spewing hate speech and racial slurs and denying the Holocaust. This was a result. I'm not kidding. This was a result of people from 4chan training it to be a Nazi.
Oh my god.
That way with it. Yeah. Anyway, but okay, but not all is lost for Norman. The team believe it can be retrained to have a less psychopathic point of view by learning from human responses to the same inkblot test. AI can also be used for good, like when MIT managed to create an algorithm called Deep Empathy last year to help people relate to victims of disaster. None of this has stopped the internet from freaking out, though, because there's lots of Twitter posts about it.
But in a way, it's like it is. Like I said, it is important to like highlight and worth studying into, because like, okay, this is a thing that can happen. Yeah, can we just not let it happen? If that makes sense, like, can we find ways to prevent this?
Well, here's the thing. In my personal opinion, let's just go ahead and talk about artificial intelligence for a second. I am of the mindset of I totally think we should look into it. I don't think we should let it loose just yet.
No, don't let it loose, but
Because-
look into it
yeah.
definitely.
Especially while we're still in a Trump presidency.
Oh god.
You guys know my opinion on
Nope,
politics.
nope. Shush. No. This is now a politics-free stream. Fuck off. Oh. Okay.
Anyway, but yeah. Oh god, and I'm seeing here in the chat. There's actually people out there who believe the Holocaust didn't happen. Some believe the moon landing was faked. I'd like to know how we could stop Earth from becoming like Venus. Oh good lord.
Sorry, I've just seen something I'm chuckling at. So those of you that have Telegram, we know have these lovely things called stickers. We're like putting stickers everywhere. One thing I've been seeing, at least over the last 6 months, is everybody seems to be picking on the snow leopards, and I don't know why or how it started. So
it's the most used one ever.
okay, the red pandas, I've had a go at them by drawing like red panda stripes on them. The tigers have their own, drawing tiger stripes on them. The lynxes are putting like taping tufts to their ears. The cheetahs are like perching on top of their heads and stuff like that. And I've just seen on Twitter the otters are now having a go and giving the snow leopards webbed paws.
Oh my god. Oh,
Sorry.
Panda Fox made a really good comment, and I love this. Mate, it's too late for AI. We're already being deceived by the great Zuckerberg.
He is AI.
Well, yeah.
Must collect all of your data.
He's the most convincing android on the face of the earth, and we don't even know it. Then again, he does kind of have reptile eyes. Anyway, um, fucking gave him a booster seat at the hearing. It was ridiculous. But, but yeah, back to the subject of AI. I think it does have potential. I think we can like create an AI that we can just like unleash as its own form of intelligent life on the same like with the same freedoms as any one of us.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I feel like we need to be in a position as far as like global politics, global economy, and that kind of stuff, where we have a group of people that are responsible enough to tell it right from wrong, to treat it like their own family or their own child, to tell them how they should live their life. And so it's kind of almost like it's going back to the whole parenting situation. That's really what it comes down to try and get an AI to mimic how a child would.
Yeah.
But
It's
it's also extremely dangerous.
dangerous, needs testing, but definitely an interesting line of thought. Especially if it highlights, okay, we need these safety measures in place. This has got to be put in there to prevent this from happening. But no, definitely something worth looking into. Hopefully they'll continue their line of investigation.
What do you think, Mark?
I watched iRobot. That's my opinion. Actually, like, it's one of the few topics that I don't actually have an opinion on, just because I'm not well informed on that kind of subject.
Well, nor am I, but just the general idea of people literally teaching a robot to kill and then learning from it, or stuff like that. I mean, how do you feel about that? Like,
It's the thing where it's in controlled testing environments. Do whatever you feel is necessary to get the proper resources that you need for your researching experiment. That's ultimately what it comes down to, because it's the same thing with like, oh man, we built an atom bomb. We haven't used it. Good. That's a good scientific, scientific journey that you just went through. Congratulations. Please don't use it.
yeah,
And we used it.
yeah.
And my power is flickering. My power might go out any. Like the lights have flickered 3 times already. Holy shit.
We may lose a Jero. I repeat, we may lose a Jero.
If you do, I'm gonna hop on my phone.
Marks, Mud has just posted your Discord link in the chat. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, it's my general Discord.
Alright,
That's
that's
where I put the announcement for this.
that's fine. I just didn't know if you're okay for being advertised in there. That's all.
I mean, if you're the main. It's not like anything private. It's open to everyone.
I'm fine with it. I'm chill with that. So, anything else you want to talk on the subject, Jero, or is that it?
I think we pretty much covered everything. Like AI is still, and even then, I won't like be putting any sort of opinions on it until much later.
Yeah. So that actually wraps up quite nicely time-wise as well. So, Mark, we mentioned just a bit earlier that we'll be diving into one of the subreddits of the site, where we talk about funny stories. So this is now called Not an Onion, or Not the Onion, should I say. These are stories that sound bullshit, but are actually true, and 9 times out of 10 are funny as hell.
Or they just
The-
reduce your faith in
The first two already kind of scare me.
Well, these take it a step further. So I want to kick us off from Sky News. Memes will be banned under EU copyright law. Warn campaigners. Digital rights campaigners are warned the law could lead to the destruction of the internet as we know it. A new copyright law from the European Union would lead to the banning of memes on the internet. The EU Copyright Directive intends to protect the intellectual property rights of people who upload the material to the internet. However, campaigners are warning the law will require all content uploaded to the internet to be monitored and potentially deleted if a likeness to an existing copy is protected. The campaign against a particular provision of Directive Article 13 warns that online platforms could be economically damaged if they were forced to comply with its expensive obligations. So it's basically saying anything that comes up on the internet, if someone takes it and like memes it, that's going to be against new like EU copyright law regulations, basically.
Excuse me. Do you have a second to read the new updated privacy policy?
Uh, do you have 20 years of your life? But
Mark, don't you fucking love the First Amendment?
what?
Am I allowed to speak on that?
I said, don't you? I said, don't you love the First Amendment?
I was making a joke.
Oh, God, it took me a second.
Toby, you say you're fine with banning memes. It would end the internet. like,
memes have been around for like actually since the internet.
yeah.
Like Numa is like the oldest meme I can think of, but I know that there's even further back memes that have always been progressing through the internet.
I've just realised I've got to link this to Seth. This is important. Seth is memes.
Seth is the meme queen.
But I just find it funny. It's just like EU legislation kills memes. Basically, it's just like, how does that even?
Well, it's like, here's the thing: if you try to pass that shit over in the United States, that would immediately get struck down because of two different provisions. One, obviously, the First Amendment is freedom of speech, and two, the Fair Use Clause when it comes to copyright, because memes, in their basic form, are parody.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's parody. It's taking piss. It's making light of something that exists that may or may not be bad. It's just taking the piss out of stuff.
Shit, this just reminds me of
Is this a pigeon?
This reminds me of the case where the pug, the guy that made a Nazi out of his pug.
Oh, that guy.
got a pun.
Yeah, that
That
would.
just reminds me of that, where it's like, okay, your freedoms don't matter.
Yeah, it's just like that's the stuff that's like on the line. Unfortunately, I think that was just a bit over the line. I mean,
I don't. I still don't think he should have been fined. Like, there was, sure, it was calling his pug a Nazi, but the thing is, people still think that's funny.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like
Context matters.
the fact that he's trained his pug to do that. I think it was hilarious. I thought it was funny, but at the same time, I can see why people were really pissed off about it. I really can.
The Jews weren't pissed off about it.
There probably were a few though. A good few though were. I'm not. I mean, let's be real.
Okay. Let me give you the most famous example. Mel Brooks freaking acted as Adolf Hitler for a comedy film. Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah. Okay.
getting
Yeah.
Offended over this trivial bullshit.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the
Fair
thing.
point. I can't argue that. I can't argue.
There's a part
You-
to play in everybody's comedy role. Like, it's something that I've noticed a lot, right?
Mm.
When it comes to trivial comedy or comedy in general, some people have a different level of aggressiveness in comedy. And it's all just based on how sensitive they are on certain subjects. Because, like, you could say a joke. My friend said a joke at work that was talking about butt cancer. Like, he thought it was funny. And everybody else thought it was funny. But he had to stop because somebody's dad died of butt cancer.
Ah.
So it's like everybody has their own sensitivities and things like that. And to some people who grew up in these certain places or doing these certain things, some comedy just isn't funny. It's offensive to them. No matter how it's portrayed, no matter how funny it is, no matter what you do, comedy is in the eyes of the people in the audience.
Yeah. I
as
suppose it's a fair
much
point.
As much as I agree with that, that doesn't give somebody the right to fine somebody or press legal charges. That it's like, okay, take it up with that person. Say, I am relatively offended like this. Could you please stop? Be civil about it. Don't like immediately call somebody out for either being a Nazi or trying to propagate this or saying that it's hate speech when it's all supposed to be a joke and it's not targeted towards anybody. It's not meant to
Yeah.
offend anybody. because like I said, context matters
It's
as
like
well as intent matters.
it's like saying sort of like was it like a comedy and jokes in the eye of the beholder? Two people straight away who make very like they'll make comments or jokes that some people will go like cringe back from, but it's just their way of comedy, and I enjoy both these people. First off is the Scottish comedian Frankie Boyle. He doesn't give a shit what comes out of his mouth when he's on stage, but that's just his comedy. It's like shock comedy, and yes, it's landed him in trouble, but that's just how he is.
Yeah.
The other person, again, I always love his stuff. Yeah, maybe a couple of things I'll go, alright, not for me yet. But to the Ranting Griffin, like the stuff that he's like done on stage on his YouTube and stuff like that. Not everybody agrees with how he says and does things, but at the same time, it's like he's being funny to a lot of people. He wouldn't have the support he does if that wasn't the case.
It's all about audience.
Exactly. And half the time,
'Cause-
these comedians are saying what we're thinking.
It's like Eric Andre. Eric Andre has the most awful view of comedy,
Oh,
in my opinion. Have you ever seen an Eric Andre show?
I have not, no.
Shoot, he's black, right?
He's what?
He's black and he's got like the frizzy hair.
Yeah.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. He's
So-
kind of disgusting, but I can see why people.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's like, oh man, this is completely fucking stupid. It's really awkward comedy because like he'll invite people onto the stage, onto his set. Like he's invited a bunch of really famous people on, and they come on, and then like one of
And
them
then he does the most ridiculous shit.
Yeah, he like at one point he invites this female on. The female comes, sits down. The interview's going really awkward as it normal does, and then he pukes on his desk and then just starts eating it up.
Oh god, I remember one where he did the entire interview naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was naked in the tub, and I think it was Flava Flav, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Jesus.
Like, his comedy is one of the most obscure, obscene, like, comedy that I can actually, like, say is somewhat mainstream, because there's a lot of people who like his content. But at the same time, it's like, a lot of people get onto him because some of the stuff he says is pretty damn offensive.
B Machine brought up a good one. George Carlin.
Oh, yeah.
that name's over my head. What?
He is the guy that came up with the 7 dirty words. I think it was cocksucker, motherfucker, tits, turd, and twat. But yeah, George Carlin like made extremely like brutally honest comedy, to the point where it's like, these days I don't even have to worry about dying. I'll pass away.
Yeah.
Or he's talking about like they used to call post-traumatic stress disorder shell shock. Back then it sounded like something serious. Oh, he's got shell shock. But no, they have post-traumatic stress disorder, combat fatigue, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And
I
he
could.
basically like
Yeah, I could see how that could upset people, but it's just like he's not wrong in what he's saying.
yeah, he's voicing his opinion, and it's like he's giving. And in all honesty, when he brought that up, he's like giving mad respect to the people that actually experience that kind of stuff, and basically saying, okay, this dumbing down of this word has made the problem seem less severe, and giving it a term that's more indicative of a problem or more catching to the ear might give it more what am I trying to say, attention
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff.
Because it's also a thing where some people believe that opinionated comedy isn't something that should be a thing.
No,
Because
I would have to disagree with that. Sometimes you get the best comedy from those opinions. I mean,
Exactly.
yes, you're probably gonna upset somebody somewhere, but you know what? Fuck it, someone's gonna be offended anyway, so just say it.
You know what? Isn't all comedy subjective anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally comedy is YouTube, in my opinion. Some jokes just won't land. Other jokes will become something that will be debuted for the rest of your life. For no reason.
It just
and
what
then
gets
other
picked
jo-
up.
and then other jokes will make you extremely sensitive about pictures that are on Twitter. I I won't get into specifics. But
Let's
you know
move
what I'm
along
talking
from
about.
that now. We've gone off on a massive tangent here. Move along. Jero, pick a topic.
Fine.
I mean, I've seen some good ones for my second one. I'm having to make a choice when it comes back around to me.
Oh no.
Uh-oh, what you found?
Okay, so we're not going to get into the politics of this one, but this is ridiculous.
Nope, no politics, please.
U.S. kindergartens now teaching nursery rhymes to prep kids for school shooters.
That's one of the ones I was debating.
Why?
Come on, read it out. Let's read this lovely article.
A U.S. mother has shared the confronting image of from her daughter's perspective kindergarten classroom, showing instructions for a lockdown drill put to the tune of "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star." Gregory Cohen, a Boston creative director, shared the image on Twitter this morning. It shows a multicolored lyric poster outlining the drill protocol. Lockdown, lockdown, lock the door. Shut the lights off, say no more. Go behind the desk and hide. Wait until it's safe inside. Lockdown, lockdown, it's all done. Now it's time to have some fun.
I seriously, if you put a heavy metal beat to that and have somebody screaming it, that'd be a pretty kick-ass song. Sorry, that was not funny.
Oh god. No,
No, that was
This
amazing.
this links into what you just said last time. Is like comedy is subjective. Damn. Oh.
Fucking make a bat metal song out of that. Well, I know everything with bat metal is like Batman animations, but seriously, I could see them using that.
Oh, but just the general idea of it though is like teaching kindergarten kids. Like, what?
Why should they
It's-
be worried about this?
They shouldn't. That's the thing.
Oh boy.
It's
Like,
okay. So growing up in the South, there's a lot of views and stuff like this that honestly, like, right, like my parents will never get that mindset that we have nowadays. Like, I told my father that I was. Well, I haven't told my father. I told my mother that I was bisexual, and my mother was literally like, "Well, you can't get married."
Excuse me.
She's like, "No, marriage is only respectable for religions," and I'm like, "So are you
Oh.
saying I'm not religious?" And then she's like, "Well, if you're gay, you can't be allowed by God." And it got in this huge topic, you know, all that stuff, sensitive topic. But it's how the South works, and so anything that threatens their livelihood and threatens the respectfulness of their community immediately gets seen as something that needs to be fixed and remedied as much as possible.
shit, you make my parents seem more progressive.
My parents are very old school.
I'm just glad I'm in
Like-
the UK right now.
Because literally, like, every time I'm home, if I don't open the door for a female, my dad will literally hit me.
Jesus.
Like,
Yeah.
he has punched me several times for not opening the door for a female. And it was really funny when I brought my girlfriend now. She wasn't my girlfriend at the time, but I brought her and Majira because you know how Majira is. He's big and he has a lisp and he has a light voice, so he sounds homosexual. And then we have my girlfriend, so they were like trying to figure out which one I was trying to date. My family didn't talk to me for 3 months after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was like, it's like the concept they're trying to work out which one you're dating. You should have just confused them. You're told them for 3 months anyway. You should have just confused them and just went both.
It's the South. Like that's how things work. You do your best in the South to make things as comfortable as you see fit. Whether that means giving people more guns because you want to be more secure, or teaching children a nursery rhyme to stop them from getting what they believe as a threat.
Which is not. okay. I just don't get why a kindergarten, for the love of God. And I'm sorry, butchering a nursery rhyme. Come on. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's nothing
this kind
sacred
of reminds
anymore.
this kind of reminds me of tragedies like Sandy Hook, where I'm mainly just sitting there going like, we live in a society where that happened.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's sad and it's probably been here for a really long time, but at the same, like, we really need to look into like what even causes this shit.
Oh,
Like
Comet, please.
what clicks in no, oh no, that is not funny. Subjective comedy right there, not funny. I don't think that's funny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude.
That's a bit over the line for
Like,
me as well.
I'm not gonna time out for you for that one because I want to give you the opportunity to like adapt and shit, but that's kind of crossing the line.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But as I was saying, like, we need to look into like the actual cause for what makes it click in these people's minds that it's acceptable for them to do this, or why they think it's a last resort. Like, especially nowadays, which this is interesting. This is kind of getting off topic, but at the same time, it's interesting to look at.
Yeah, let's quickly go off topic and then
we-
we'll move along.
We now have the ability to look at people's motives, especially if they use social media so heavily. They leave like this laundry list of stuff, of evidence, of psychological profiling, actually, that allows us to, kind of ascertain as to why somebody decides it's acceptable to do this. If for anybody that wants to like take time after the stream and take a look at a particular one that I think is interesting. It's a guy named Randy Stair. Stairs in like, stairs to go up. He is somebody that like attempted to commit like a mass shooting at his workplace, and he left everything on the internet. He's a fucking cringe lord. So, was a fucking cringe lord. But we can go into that another time. That is not going to be for this stream. Happier thoughts. So let's go on to the next one. Mark, have you got one?
Vaping essays. E-cigarette sellers offering scholarships.
Wait, what? Oh, there it is. What? Hang on. Hold the phone. What?
A growing number of e-cigarettes and vaporizer sellers have started offering college scholarships as a way to get their brands listed on university websites and to get students to write essays about the potential benefits of vaping.
What?
Scholarships range from $250 to $5,000.
Hey, Mark, I know how we're going to get your money.
Give me a scholarship. I'll fill out an essay.
How does this even... What? How?
I mean, I bet you money that that Philip Morris would have done the same thing back when kids were allowed to smoke.
Yeah. It's very true.
That's fucking hilarious. That's what it is.
Scholarships for vaping. I'm sorry, my brain cannot... My brain does not accept this.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're like looking for new engineers to make sicker vape mods and shit.
Well, it's also a thing that, like, there's a lot of health risk currently going on because not a lot of people know the benefits and also the downfall of vaping. Because
Cough, cough, popcorn lung.
yeah, it's not good for you, for sure. But it's still a better alternative in many ways. And so a lot of people, I think, that just immediately have this downturn because they're like, what's the difference between a cigarette and an e-cigarette? Oh, well, it vaporizes oil and it turns it into water vapor. It's bad for your lungs. It's a continued thing, because that's the exact way my mom puts it whenever she tries to tell me to quit vaping.
Well, at the same time, it's like, there is a way to do it without having to like breathe it in, but still get the effect of the nicotine if you're trying to get off that, and two, if you're literally doing it without any nicotine, which I did that for like 3 years, then just get the flavor of it in your mouth and all that good stuff, or just the nice smells, or
Yeah.
just the experience of being able to do it. You don't have to breathe it in. Sometimes you can just suck it into your mouth, let it float around, and that's what me and my friends did, and that's also how we smoked cigars in college. So there's ways to do it without fucking up your lungs and fucking up everybody else. It's just people assume because it starts with cigarettes. Oh, I gotta breathe this shit in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just what the fuck.
Yeah, I get it. I get why they're doing it, but it's also like, why? You could
What?
have done something completely different and not have this effect.
But
Mark, get
Is-
that scholarship.
yeah,
Get that
Well,
fucking
scholarship,
scholarship.
scholarship.
It's the thing where like they're because it's kind of like that old school like cigarette commercial where they're like shoving a teenager's mouth with cigarettes. It's like, oh man, Food and Drug Administration back then wasn't really cracking down on this, I guess.
No,
And so now they're offering the scholarship to high school students,
Jesus.
Ah, it's ridiculous.
which means at some point they would have had to been smoking.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right, shall we move along to the next one? Oh, time to have a poke at my own country. Because why the fuck not? Pretty insane. Vegan protesters target London eatery for being vegetarian. A
Get
Lon-
your shit out of here right now. I'm sorry.
A London restaurant owner believes vegan activists have targeted her, trolling the business online, vandalising cars parked at the establishment, and leaving a letter criticising the business with its landlord. Jess, I can't even say that last name, who owns 4 food businesses in the city, believes she's the victim of eco-terrorism after she offered vegetarian options at the Rhino Lounge in Museum London, but refused to bow to the pressure to make it only vegan. The pressure includes critical comments on her and business Facebook pages and leaving a negative review on Yelp, a restaurant review site. It's bullying and they're trying to destroy my business. We're trying to celebrate how innovative and great vegetarian food can be, but they sworn me it's a mob mentality. They tried shaming. The irony is, while she wanted to offer vegetarian and vegan baked goods, she has now switched back to offerings with meat such as pizza and even donuts with candied bacon after the backlash. They were saying, ditch the dairy if you're good, that poor mama and baby goats are separated. They are trying to harm my business in an unethical way. Activists who wrote vegan slogans with dry eraser on cars parked at Museum London, where Rhino Lounge is located, including "Pigs have mums too." So basically, she did offer like vegan options in her place, but because she's offering vegetarian stuff as well, the vegans have gone up in an uproar and trying to just ruin her business. But they're also vandalizing other people's cars for going into her restaurant.
I mean,
That's just criminal.
It's
Like, if you're going to protest, whatever, you do your thing. But when you start vandalizing people who have nothing to do with the thing that you're trying to, I guess, portray, that's just a criminal activity.
but they have got something to do with it because they're supporting this evil business.
I mean, animals put on this planet be consumed. There are literally animals whose sole purpose in life is to just constantly reproduce and get eaten. It's fucking nature. At the end of the day, there's a good chance we are not better than any of them, and people need to understand that. Like, if we start eating each other, okay, yeah, that shit's a little messed up. Because it's like,
Yeah, but no,
but
I mean, don't get me wrong. I see like your point on like side of things, but it is how like like we have evolved as a society. I mean, if we go back, God knows how many millions of years, and we didn't start killing those weird like brown and white things in the field because they look tasty and they gave us milk. No, we might not have the bodies we have today. We might not depend on like proteins and stuff like that, but unfortunately, that is how the way the world has gone. If you don't want to live like that, fair enough. But why the hell are you attacking businesses? Like, it's not as if they're keeping cattle and like I don't know, shooting them out the back or something. It's like what the fuck?
yeah, like it's just been.
Let
I
us just
support
borrow a
veganism. Go ahead.
So Lewis just brought up a good point that the cars parked outside might not belong to the visitors. It might just be people visiting the museum.
I mean,
That's a valid point. There might not even be people going to that restaurant.
at the end of the day, I don't mind veganism. I don't mind vegetarian. If you want to do it for the health benefits, you go right the hell ahead. But don't come to me saying that because I think it's okay to kill a pig for food that I don't care about animal life. I think that that pig should, live a decent life and that kind of stuff. And right about the time where it gets a little on the old side and it's done its business on this planet, go ahead and eat it and turn it into a nice slice of bacon.
Yeah, there's a brutal way of putting it, but it is true. Like every bit of meat I eat, I do hope it's come from at least a half decent source, if anything. Like if I go like to the shops and my mom's like, look, can you pick these stuff up for me? If I see like eggs, I will look for free range. And it's just like it's not that much more expensive than like standard eggs. It's the same with like the milk I pick up. It's like another extra like 5 pence for organic milk. I will take the organic milk. Thank you very much. So it's not I don't like care about what I'm putting in my mouth. I do care, and
Well,
I would organic
listen,
everything. The
the-
problem is, a lot of organic food and organic sourcing is a crap ton more expensive than unfortunately like battery farmed and stuff like that. Battery farmed eggs were illegal. I wouldn't say they're illegal, but it's getting that way. Like a lot of people are starting to wise up. Oh, they are illegal now. Oh, I must have missed that update somewhere. But yeah, even so,
I, I will say this real quick. It's okay to not drink organic milk because at least you'd be, drinking milk from an animal that, had its vaccinations and that kind of stuff. Non-organic milk means they've done nothing to the animal to preserve it or its safety or anything like that. It doesn't always mean it's packed full of steroids.
true. And yeah, Lilith, you do make a point in that. Fair enough, but that's just the way I've like been basically, and I've not had issues with it. And I think we'll move along before we get into another massive debate and start screaming at each other.
Well,
But
it seems we're on the same page here, so
yeah, fair enough. Just I don't want to linger too long
Another-
on topics because we haven't got long left of the show.
It's not. It's another one of those things that I just don't have really an opinion on.
So we'll have one more topic and then we'll move on to end this, like to the last section of the stream. Marks, if you want to pick the last one.
Yeah. IHOP says it's changing iconic name, and a lot of pancake lovers flip out.
IHOP.
Flip out. Aha.
Out of American reference. Hello, IHOP.
So IHOP is the International House of Pancakes. It's it's a restaurant that's been circulating in America for like 60 years. It's always had the name IHOP, and they just released a commercial where it's got IHOP, but they turned the P upside down.
International House of Breakfast. What?
That's what I'm kind of assuming, but it's like they just released a tweet and it was like, for 60 years of making pancakes, we've been IHOP. Now we're flipping our name to IHOB.
Oh.
I hob along. Ha ha ha.
Flipping the name. Oh, puns. No puns. Why?
It's because Mark is in here.
You got the
Yeah, it's
you got the link
there's
to that
like
somewhere.
yeah, I got the link. Hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went diving into that Reddit and then I found this and I was like, I actually wanted to read more into this, so I was like, man, what is actually going on in this? And so it's like, this is just a bunch of the tweets from the people who are like upset about it because they're like trying to figure out what the B stands for, and then fucking IHOP put out and was like, or IHOP now. It's like, what could the B be? And like,
I could see that. Yeah.
a hole for biscuits, bacon, butternut squash, and barnacles.
I mean, I support an international house of bacon. Not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, I would too.
Oh, count me in on that shit as well. But Mark, have you ever actually been to an IHOP?
Oh yeah. Actually, wait, we went to an IHOP just the other day. Or was that a Denny's?
We never have been to IHOP.
I've been to an IHOP plenty of times. I probably just got confused with Denny's there.
I mean, but and the thing is, I remember going to an IHOP for a fur meat, and like the pancakes are they're pretty good pancakes. But I also had I got like some sort of steak thing with fried eggs. The steak was goddamn awful.
Oh yeah.
Like if they're really gonna go out and like call themselves the International House of Breakfast, they may as well just stop while they're ahead. I'm always gonna know them for their pancakes because they don't know how to cook anything else.
Yeah, it's like Waffle House. You go to Waffle House, what are you gonna get?
Waffles.
You can get a waffle with a side of other things.
Well, this is the thing. I can understand where you're like saying this is an outside like American perspective here. It's like I can understand like where you come from. Like they don't know how to cook anything else, but I don't know. Give them a chance. I mean, they'll probably always be known for the pancakes. That's gonna be the signature thing. Like that's their go-to. But if they get good at making like full like breakfasts and stuff, I'm a sucker for like all day breakfasts. Like I'll happily go to a restaurant, and if they have like a all day English breakfast there, yeah, I'll sit past 2 in the afternoon and have a breakfast. Fucking,
Well,
I'm all about it.
The thing you're not understanding is that their menu isn't changing at all. It's the name, and from a business
Oh.
perspective, that doesn't make any sense at all because it's brand recognition. You know, it is their model isn't changing. Their actual restaurants are not changing. It's just the name, and like I said, brand recognition.
It's like if Waffle House changed its name to Breakfast House without changing the menu.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't make sense, and I'll shut up.
Because it's just the thing. It's like, why? I just really hope that it's just something that they did for a joke, like a late April Fools. But
Well, late April.
Their Twitter is like they're responding to these things. Like, there's one where it's like, does the B stand for blueberries? And they're like, blueberries, bacon, breakfast. There are so many possibilities.
Oh, fuck off.
And they keep responding to people with like, obviously thanks for breakfast. And this guy's like, oh, IHOP responds with, oh, deviously, you should come back on 6/11 and see what it's gonna be.
That's not even funny.
Yeah, these are like the terrible furry puns I write in Majir's videos.
No,
Oh.
they're worse than that.
Oh, Toby's just said, I still remember the ad on the table one time I went to IHOP. T-bone steak, it's not just for breakfast anymore. Summed up America for me.
No, there's
Oh, God.
oh my god, the red, white, and blue pancakes where the guys the guys like look at them and he's like, red, white, and blue pancakes. I wonder what they taste like. And then the old guy next to him just stares and he's like, America.
Oh yeah, comment, IHOP is an American pancake house, basically.
Or the Mardi Gras one where like they didn't have. I just remember like I was sitting down at an IHOP and I was like, "What's the Mardi Gras one?" And they're like, "It tastes like Mardi Gras," and I'm like, "So bad booze and smells like sewage."
No!
And the lady was like, "No, it's got confetti and it's got," and I'm like, "You have never been to Mardi Gras."
Jesus Christ. So yeah, outrage at IHOP. Why not? I think we'll find out sooner or later if we have if it's a joke or not. But we'll see. We'll see. Right. Toby, also wonder if it might be related to the evangelical group International House of Prayer using IHOP in their materials.
Oh god.
Oh.
Oh, by the way, sorry, this was a story from a while ago. Still talking about IHOP.
Right.
So we were on a security detail because I used to be a security officer in Charlotte, and there was a place that was called Cox Road. because the original is spelled COX because the guy's name was Daniel Cox. He apparently did some crazy thing for the community, so they gave him a street name, and it's on like a bunch of signs and stuff. But for a radio, there's always this radio station down in Charlotte where they're like, oh yeah, before somebody leaves a radio station, you know, they quit or they leave or they get fired or whatever, they make them do something stupid on radio. And so there's an IHOP on this road, and they were getting this guy to do. They were getting one of the TV host or the radio host who was leaving to read this sponsor. And the radio guy's just reading, and he's like, "Come on down to IHOP. We have a lot of." He's like trying to read out the deals and everything, and he just goes, "So remember, come on down, and IHOP on Cox." Meaning like I hop on Cox Road. They wrote it like that.
Oh
so
no! Oh no!
Demonetized.
Yeah. Twitch, please don't demonetize me. It's not my fault.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh god, that's amazing.
It's seriously one of my favorite things.
I hop on Cox. Oh, that's just... Okay, Bart Simpson.
Look,
go back and take your puns to Majira. Majira, if you ever watch this, can you please remove him?
This was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. This has been so entertaining. Christ, right? Let's start. Right. Moving on before I break up any further. Christ. So,
Movies and games and shit.
your movies and games and furry stuff and things and blah. So, elephant in the room, straight away, starting this weekend. It's E3. So looking forward to it. Question is, what game are you looking forward to the most being talked about at E3?
Man, I ain't got shit.
I honestly have trouble picking out, because there's a lot of stuff coming out like I'm really looking forward to, but probably the one I'm most looking forward to hearing information about, because I've probably dodged the information or I've just not seen it, is honestly The Last of Us 2.
oh yeah.
I want to hear more about that. I've seen a couple of the trailers, but that's about it. I haven't heard or seen anything more about it. So if they talk about that, really looking forward to it. And I've sort of... So go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was about to change the subject.
Oh, right. The only thing we have sort of like tried to get an idea of like times and stuff like that, when's like who's talking when. The one that is annoying me is the Bethesda one. Is it like at 2 a.m. in the morning for me? Which sucks, because I want to know more about Fallout 76 as well. Because I've heard a lot of stuff, but not been confirmed around that.
Yeah, Fallout 76, that was what I was actually going to talk about. It just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, they just...
Like, they kind of hinted at it for a while, and then it was just like, hey, here's a trailer.
It's like, boom. Excuse me?
Exactly. And, you know, like, the thing I'm really worried about for Fallout 76 is, like, the time between Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4 was a long time.
Yeah.
Fallout 4 has only been on the market since, what, 3 years? Because it came out...
It came out my senior year at college, so I want to say about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
The timeline has been different for this one, so I'm actually a little bit worried about it.
Yeah, which way could it go, sort of thing. But even so, I'd like to know more information, because like I said, I keep hearing different things. Like,
Would you like to know more?
I will know more at the press conference. That is basically, I want confirmation of shit at the press conference. As I know, other things I'm looking forward to getting more information on. Kingdom Hearts 3, please. Would like some more information on that. What else? The new Assassin's Creed that's come out. It looks like it might be set in Greece or Macedonia, which is interesting because that kind of links in with Origins. So that's got me all curious. What else? What else? Red Dead, Red Dead Redemption 2. Hopefully, some more stuff about that, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit more teaser level information or music or whatever for the Spyro re-release.
Yeah.
Mark, we should arrange a trip to E3 some year. Just like,
Oh, good
like
luck.
4 or 5 years down the road, just like have an extra E3 budget, and then just invade it with furry shit.
Yeah, I would definitely go in fursuit to E3. That'd be great.
Can I
Because also,
come?
Just Cause 4 is supposed to be coming out as well.
Well,
And
I,
Rage 2.
well, I saw a small list of stuff. Yeah, E3 conference schedule, UK times, blah blah blah. So I'm sure I saw a list somewhere.
So CNET released a whole thing filled with a few of them, because they released the biggest ones that are known now, which is Rage 2, Just Cause 4, Borderlands 3, Fallout 74 or 76, Gears of War 5.
Fallout 76 reporting.
Oh, don't start.
Supposedly Nintendo is supposed to be projecting a new Star Fox game.
Oh!
Oh,
Possibly.
there we go.
That's what he said.
We've lost
You
Jero.
have my attention.
Star Fox on the Switch.
You
Star
haven't
Fox on.
lost me. I'm listening to this shit.
Well, that's just what it says. They've been working on a new Star Fox game for a while.
Because
But they
Star Fox
just-
Zero was absolute shit. Well,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
let me put it this way: it was mediocre. It wasn't absolute shit. It was mainly mediocre.
But also the new Super Smash Brothers as well.
I mean, that's a given.
Oh, there's the other game I want to hear more about. The Pokemon Let's Go.
Let's go Pikachu and let's go Eevee. I really hope Eevee outsells Pikachu because Pikachu is
Yeah,
it's cute but it's overrated.
there's fireworks going off behind my house. Excuse me.
Are
Anyway,
they really fireworks?
yeah, there were. Not many, but there's some. But yeah, E3. Looking forward to it. Lots of tasty information. Going to be. I eat all the informations this weekend, please. Thank you.
Mark, I'm gonna retweet something at you. It's hilarious.
Uh oh. I'm just gonna load up Twitter to spy on this. 1 second. Quick, everyone to Twitter.
My comment. What is this? Oh! Stop it, CNET. Have you ever been on a news site and then a video just starts playing?
Yeah.
That's what just
Yeah.
happened.
God,
It was super loud and it was just like, CNET. Stop, please.
I'm just.
For
Mickey.
more information from latest.
Just Mickey having a right freak out.
You should subscribe.
Yeah.
Not
Yes,
looking
subscribe to me. Give me money. Any thoughts on what the next evolution will be? No idea. I mean, I know what I'd like to
Dragon
see.
type.
No,
Dragon.
no. Honestly, a type I'd most like to see, and it has been for years, poison.
Oh,
I would love to
Yeah.
see a poison Eevee type.
that's fair.
Isn't there a dark type?
That's two separate
No.
things.
Yeah, dark type is more the ghost Pokemon. Poison.
Nope,
Pokemon's
that's
poison.
different as well. Dark and ghost are
Okay.
two separate things.
Fuck, that's right. It's like the counter to psychic Pokemon, or is it counter? don't
Dark
know,
is strong
very
against Psychic. Psychic is also weak to Ghost. Dark also beats Ghost. Psychic is good against Poison and Fighting. Fighting is strong against Dark. So
So-
you've got
Right,
Fire is strong against Grass. Grass is strong against Water. Water is strong against Fire. There's a sort of little triangle there as well.
But yeah, in terms of poison, I think poison's strong against grass type, and then
Yep.
it's weak against water types.
Nope.
No, other way around.
Yeah, no. Poison and water have no interaction. It's just like base damage.
Oh.
Poison is
I
weak.
honestly. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, poison is weak to ground, rock. I think. I'm not. It's definitely weak to ground. What else is it's bad against steel, but I don't think it's like weak to it. I don't think there's actually a lot it's really weak against. Psychic, it's not good against psychic. It's shit against psychic, but it is also now strong against the very like dominant fairy type that's come in since recent generations. Like a lot.
So to be completely honest, when it comes to Pokemon, I haven't played any Pokemon games since Pokemon Sapphire that came out on the Advanced.
The GBA, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, since then there's a new type. It's called Fairy. Because what happened, I think it was around Gen 5. I think it was Gen 5. Dragons got insanely powerful. Like, they really like made a headway into being like the dominant force of the games. So they want to try and balance it out. Some ways, and that's part of the reason they brought in Fairy type, because Fairy was strong against dragons, and in doing that, they also give Fairies a weakness to Steel and Poison, which were two very underused, unutilized types. The only downside to that still, unless it has changed recently and I'm not sure about it, is there's not a massive move pool for Steel and Poison. There's some good moves in there, don't get me wrong, but it needs to be more diverse to balance it out again, because Fairies were a dominant force in Gen 6. What was Gen 6? Yeah, it was Gen 6.
That was Diamond and Pearl, right?
No, that was
Oh no, it was after.
it was Black and White was the dragons, and then it was not Sun and Moon, that's the more recent one. Fuck, what was the one set in like the France one again?
It was the X and Y one.
Yeah, X and Y. Yeah, that's when fairies get introduced, and they sort of like there wasn't.
No. Fairies were introduced in Black and White because.
No. It was X and Y.
It was after.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I said the fairies made a massive like force into the game, not as bad as the dragons did in 5, and I think because I remember like going to tournaments and pretty much everybody you could look at was pretty much throwing a Garchomp in there, because he was just such a powerhouse. But fairies did bring a lot of balance. There's just obviously still some tweaks to be had with it, but that's always going to be the case. But yeah, Pokemon.
And before anybody asks, no, we are not going to make a Smasher Pass ever.
We're not going to what?
Not going to make a Smasher Pass Pokemon video.
Yeah.
Not doing that shit.
Hell no.
I don't know enough about any of the new Pokemon to even be able to correlate that kind of stuff.
Yeah, as I
Like
said.
the last Pokemon I've watched was Indigo, and then the last game was Sapphire, and that's it.
Wow. Yeah,
I didn't play
anime-wise,
Pokemon
you're
Go
well
either.
out.
I tried to. I'm good.
Yeah, Pokemon Go was like, it was nice to like get out and gamify going out looking,
I mean,
but at the it's just like
I like the fact that it's going to have interactivity with the Switch game. That's interesting. I keep thinking you're saying furry type. No, I'm definitely saying fairy.
yeah, you have to admit they do sound similar.
They do. I'm not gonna. Well, to be fair, half the fucking furries are fairies anyway.
How do you counter the furry type with Twitter?
Drama. Salt. Wait, Artemis! Artemis, can we boil some salt, please?
How do you carry furry type? With bronies.
Oh no! No, move on. No, we're not getting into. No. Right. Moving on from bloody fucking Pokemon, furries, whatever. No. Well, I'll see. No mud. Bad. Bad mud. No. None of that in here.
Something that I want to touch on,
Um.
real quick, that I wanted to talk about like last week.
Okay.
Mudblood, no. Mudblood, no.
Yeah, I've already told him off.
I got this. I'm sorry. I need to put you out in time. Delete that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, fair enough. Actually, we do
Alright,
not want you to get here.
let's see here. But something I wanted to talk about last week that obviously we didn't get a chance to because like post-con recovery and shit.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
So who here knows who Total Biscuit is?
Yeah.
Yes.
I heard the news about that.
Heard it
Yeah,
while I
should
was at
make
the
a
con.
I should make a correction and say who Total Biscuit was. So Total Biscuit was a really great, prolific game reviewer. Somebody, in my opinion, that was ruthlessly honest. Not as much as Jim Sterling, but up there. Definitely revolutionized the reviewing space and made it much more professional. Unfortunately, he passed away of cancer, and he actually started out having colon cancer when he noticed he wasn't having correct stools and that kind of stuff. And he didn't get it checked. That was his whole thing. Is like it was embarrassing. He didn't want a colonoscopy or anything like that, and it just progressed throughout the rest of his body. He had been fighting it for so many years, and he had gotten it to a point where it was controlled. But then he finally said, "You know what? Um, let's just stop it. I'm just going to live out the rest of my life with my family and be happy and just stop the treatment." And he ultimately decided he had done enough for his family for them to be able to live on and that kind of stuff. And it's really sad because he was only in his 30s. He
Yeah.
was about our age. And it just took him away. And he leaves his wife and child now behind and that kind of stuff. And so I wanted to be able to at least put a small little tidbit in here because he was one of the inspirations for me making my gaming YouTube channel, which now I really want to get back into because he made an impact on my life and gave me suggestions for what I wanted to do, and I enjoyed making game reviews and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
It's like
yeah,
I can totally respect and understand that. When I heard it happen, I was like, Jesus Christ. Like I hadn't watched a lot of his stuff. I'll be honest here, but I knew the impact he had. I knew the name, and it's just like, oh yeah, he's gone. I was like, fuck, really? It was
Yeah.
it was a bit of a shock, not gonna lie.
yeah, and so something that he touched on that I am going to say as well. I've already made this kind of a comment on one of Leon's streams, but I'm gonna make it again. So donating to Susan G. Komen into if you want to donate towards cancer research and that kind of stuff is one of the worst I'm sorry, it was one of the worst places to donate to because 45% of that money goes into advertising. Instead, what should be done is you should donate to your local cancer research facility. In which case, they will take 100% of the proceeds and they will put directly towards medical costs. And so that's something that he pointed out when he was on the H3 podcast. And that's something that I wanted to carry along over here. And so at some point, I do want to do a charity for that, but I just don't have the time for it. And I also have extra life as a commitment that I want to do. But at some point in time, I do want to make that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And and I want to do it with I want to do it with other people that I know and all that good stuff.
So something we've been trying to do here more recently, because I've been kind of getting kind of closer to a lot of the people who run conventions and things like that. Something we've been trying to do, and we might be trying to do at AC, is basically live streaming an event at the convention that all the money that's raised at that convention ends up going to the charity convention or the convention charity. And that's something that's much more personal and close to home because you get to see the people there, see their face, and see like what they're trying to do, and have them explain it to you.
See, it's interesting you like mentioned doing that at one of like the like conventions in the US because Confuzzled, the UK, obviously the UK con I've just been at, every single year the big thing is supporting a charity, and it's usually like an animal based one, and that's just standard. Like over here, like if
Yeah.
Confuzzled turned around one day and they said, "Oh, we're not supporting a charity this year," there'd be an uproar and the con would die within 2 seconds.
Oh
Like,
well, every convention has like, especially in the U.S., like every convention does as well. It's just nobody ever thinks to take it to a social media aspect.
oh, it's
Yeah.
amped up in the UK. It's like the big thing. Like we always like wait and see who's it this year, who's it this year, and just because the way it is in the con is growing, we always have a goal to try and smash last year, like the target from last year, which we already did. Like I think the charity last year, I think we raised about around like 21K in the
Yeah.
weekend for it, and that was the full final. That's the end of it, like total thing when they finally counted out all the pennies and everything that had been in the donation buckets at the closing ceremony. So not even like the last day's intake was taken into account and final donations. We'd already smashed that target.
Yeah.
So I'm predicting we've got at least about 23K from this year, which is amazing.
So we tried to do it at Anthro, Ohio, which was something that was kind of unique because we did the Whose Line Is It Anyway, but we also put it on live stream.
Oh god.
And it was really difficult because the thing was that we were trying to make it integrated so that way, like, if there was a suggestion that somebody wanted to do for a donation, then they would have to write it down and give it to us, or they would have to tell us straight up. But we unfortunately didn't hit that. And for Anthrocon, we're going to try to do something different. It's just we're still in talks about it. It might take a little bit. It might not be until the day of the con when we have everything sorted out. But it's definitely a new way to try to go at it because it was me and Kiwi who were at Anthro, Ohio. I did one of the panels, which is called MST3K,
Uh-huh.
which is absolutely nuts because what it is people will be watching a movie, me and a panel of others will watch a movie, and people will donate to make our drinking game.
Oh god.
So I got completely plastered to the point I don't remember. Like during the panel itself, I had 8 beers, I had 4 tequila shots, a couple shots of orange liqueur,
Oh my god.
and we were watching Ernest Goes to Camp. And somebody literally was like, "Here's 200. Here's like 100. It was like 100 or 150 dollars." And it was like, every time Ernest gets hurt, you have to drink.
Oh.
And so like that night alone, we raised so much just because we were chugging so much booze.
Oh my
Like,
god.
I
Putting your
honestly,
body's on the line.
You sh-
I mean, we had like an after party, and they were like, "Oh, if you want to drink more, you can drink more." I'm like, "Free booze? Who's going to deny that?" And I didn't realize that I had chugged 8 beers in like 2 hours.
Oh my Christ.
So I honestly don't remember past the panel.
Well, still, it was for a good cause.
Yeah.
Tell him about the Waffle House story.
Wait, what?
Oh, okay.
Wait,
so-
is this the story you wanted to talk about, Mark?
Yeah. We've
Oh
been
boy.
on crazy subjects that I completely forgot about it.
Oh no.
Um,
I'm just gonna
so
hide
literally
now.
what happened was, after we did the panel, I had at least I can't remember how many more beers I had, but I had at least 3 or 4 more beers, and then I had a couple shots of Jameson. I had a couple more shots of orange liqueur, and I don't remember what else I drank besides that. Because at that point I actually started to go blackout,
Oh.
and I'm smart still when I'm drunk, so I'm not like I just need to go lay down, because the second you lay down is the second that you're gonna puke.
Oh yeah.
Because your body is like no longer moving, and you're not trying to sweat out the alcohol that's in your system. You're now sitting down, and it's getting complacent and causing you to get dizzy. But I literally was like, yeah, let's just go do something. So we went to Waffle House, and I don't remember I remember us going, like, sitting in the parking lot trying to figure out where we're gonna go. And apparently, at one point, I just sat in the middle of the road.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just sat in the middle of the road, and then they got me up, and they were like, "Hey, okay, we're going to Waffle House." So then we drove to Waffle House, and I don't remember any of that. But at this point, my speech was so slurred that, like, when I was talking, instead of like being clear and punctual, which is how it sounds mostly when I'm drunk, it was like it was just all murmured speech, completely slurred, and it was bad. But I don't remember much of Waffle House at all. The only thing I remember was my friends were making fun of me because I needed ketchup for my hash browns because I had like an all-star dinner which comes with hash browns and stuff. And so I was like, yeah, I was trying to say, can I have some ketchup for my hash browns? But my speech was so slurred that it just sounded like, can I have some catsup for my hash browns?
Cancer for Hessians.
The funny thing is that everybody was laughing at it, so I kept saying it because I thought it was funny, but also the fact that I just really wanted ketchup for my hash browns, so I kept saying it and they kept laughing.
Cancer for Hessians.
Can I have ketchup for my hash browns?
Oh my god. I need to come to like a con over there just to see you drunk now.
That's the most drunk I have been in a while, and they're putting me on the MST3K panel for AC, so there's probably going to be another night like that.
Oh boy.
Oh, please. I really want to join in on this, to be completely honest.
No,
Like,
Jared,
see-
you've got to stay there and you've got to be sober and record it all. Like, this is important. We need someone whose eyes on the ground. To get,
So you're allowed to record, just not live stream, because a lot of NSFW topics do come up in, and they're like, we don't want our con to be shown as. You know.
I've got a camcorder. I'm gonna make sure
Mark, we've got a couple
gonna
of people
make
in
sure I
chat
get
trying to translate what you said. We've got Castle for my Hessians, Cushion for my Hessians, Hessians.
I was talking. Oh man, that night was really crazy because I remember spots, and there was like a guy who came up with these like crazy flavored Oreos. Like one was like Coca-Cola flavored, one was pina colada flavored.
Well then.
Oh.
There's one, and I don't remember for the life of me what flavor it was, but I loved it. And I literally like walked up to the guy, and I said something really not safe for work.
Uh-oh.
Because I was just like, oh my god, these Oreos are so good.
No, you said these Oreos are orgasmic.
Yeah.
That is exactly what you said.
I remember you talking about that last night.
Yeah, I was literally like, yeah, these Oreos are like orgasmic, man. he just handed them to me, so I just kept eating them.
Give me an Oreos. What could go wrong?
But I'll make sure either I record it, or if I wind up getting tipsy, Zillion records it.
Oh.
Because he's going to AC, but I don't know how much he'll deal with shenanigans and hijinks.
Yeah, so MST3K is Thursday night. And then there's gonna be a couple of other charity things that I'm gonna be doing, and honestly, it's something that me and Majira and a couple other YouTubers been trying to do is get YouTubers a more positive face.
Yeah. Also,
Yes,
those of you
I
in,
completely agree with that.
those of you in chat who are going to AC, don't forget Thursday night if you want to see Mark Sparks completely fucking off his skull wasted. You know where to go and what to do.
And if you want to be the person who contributes to it, then just know that the money that you donate will go towards a good cause.
Yeah.
And it's
Getting
not
me
just a good
drunk.
cause
Also,
it's not just a good cause of getting him drunk and getting him more.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good cause in and of itself, but.
But yeah, so it's something we've been trying to work on, and it seems that now that we've got our foot in the door, it's starting to make a more positive impact, and I'm really happy that we're able to do these kind of things now.
That's good. That's good. And since we're on the subject of con stories, I've got one. I love telling it because it's just literally a night of what the fuck happened. But everything that happened only took place within an hour. That's how crazy it was. So this was confuzzled
a couple of years ago, and I'd like a lot of people from my meets like gathered in my hotel room. We were just chatting, playing Cards Against Humanity, just generally like relaxing, having a good time. Um, and then one of my friends sends me a text message. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna call them John because I'm not gonna put real names out there.
Yeah.
So he sent me a text. Oh, have you seen my Android tablet? I can't seem to find it anywhere. Toby knows where this is going because Toby was part of this. um, I'm like, oh no, I haven't seen since we played like Magic the Gathering this morning downstairs. Just make sure you check Conop's the room properly, etc., etc. Boom, text message go, phone away. So flip over to my good friend John. He's doing this. He's sent a friend. Gonna call him Bill. Again, not using real names. So sends Bill out, looks at Conops, looks at the like hotel, like concierge, all that. Nobody can find this thing anywhere. Now the problem is that Bill went to Conops and asked if they've seen a blue tablet. Bear in mind that there was also some issues with certain special pills going around the con, also known as tablets. My friend has just asked, is there a blue tablet? So the security guy was, what, you mean ecstasy, Viagra?
You got some meth.
And of course, my friend is just like, "Oh no! I mean like an Android like phone tablet, like panicking almost to just try and clear up the story." And lo and behold, there's like nothing there. And there's looking for the room, looking for it everywhere. Nothing's coming up from about it. So half an hour later, someone else in the room gathering gets the message, completely lost it, don't know where it is. Really need help finding it. So all of a sudden there's like 16 people, almost like SAS, like marching out the room at like 10:30 at night, to spread it across the entire like convention to try and find this Android tablet. And the search is still going on, and Bill and John are just trying to figure it out. John has an idea. It's an ingenious idea. It works. He's like, I've got it. He picked up his normal phone, opens it up, unlocks it, Spotify, linked devices, play music through linked device. So
Ooh.
the Android tablet is now playing music. Can't hear anything in the room. So we pretty much, from the description I got, grabs Bill, spins him 180, almost shoves him out the room, and with the words, "Go find death metal." He had linked his Spotify to blare death metal out of his Android tablet.
Christ.
So Bill's now running around trying to see any sign of this tablet, and there's still nothing. He then decides to try Conops one last time. And he gets down there and he's like, I'm looking for this. This time the guy that's there is asking, well, we'll need some more information. I say, well, it's this make and model. No, that's not enough. It's got this cover on it. It's linked to this email. No, that's not enough. We still need more proof just to be absolutely certain. And he's sitting there, and then he clicks. He's like, about 5 minutes ago, it was blaring death metal. There's a small silence. And the security member, who I should point out at this point, is one of the German security members, just sort of glares at him and just goes, "You!" What had happened is there was a small meeting of the German security staff when all of a sudden there was death metal blaring from the safe.
Oh my god.
Needless to say, apologies were given. Bill takes the tablet and then starts blasting around the halls of the con. Unfortunately, he happens to run past a small team of security members. This just so happens to be one of the heads of security at the time at Confuzzled, and I believe the head of security of Eurofront's Dari. Oh, it's a security briefing. Oh, Jesus. Never mind. So, security briefing that the death metal interrupted. Even so, Bill is now running past a small group, including the head of security Dari and 3 of his, other associates. So, they see this guy blitzing past in the halls of the con, and also see the con badges. They yell after him, "Is everything okay?" In my friend's head, "Yes, everything's perfectly fine, no need to worry, thank you." What came out of his mouth? "Yes, I'm sure everything will be okay, thank you." So, they now think something's up, because I mentioned before they were looking at suspicious activities at the con, and someone has just ran past screaming in a high-pitched voice, "Everything's going to be okay." Yeah, 2 security members started chasing him.
Oh no.
He gets back to John's room. "Normal person, stop, knock, wait." No. Bill instead, at the door, squishes the hold, starts slamming on it, going, "Open up, open up, open up, open up." One of the security members are barreling down on him. The security arrive at the door just as John opens it. My friend Bill just looks between the security and just it looks at the security, looks at John, looks by the security, it's like, "Right, I will explain this, but right now I'm more terrified of him than I am of you guys." So they eventually catch their breath, they explain the full situation, and the security just sort of look at each other and just say, "Right, okay, because the only people meant to be moving that fast at convention is us." We made our friend Bill buy Dari and a couple of members of his team a few pints.
It sounds, yeah.
All of this from losing an Android tablet and disrupting a security briefing by death metal. And that is why when someone from my firm meets, or at least this area where I live, does some stupid shit at a con, we call it a code Tyne instead of a code Black, because we live on the Tyne River.
Oh.
I never ever want a code Tyne to happen at Confuzzled ever again.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, that's it is my favorite con story. But oh my god, it was just a nightmare.
I
So,
don't have any con stories.
I have quite possibly, there's 3 horror stories that I have in a row. And it's weird because they're somehow linked to each other.
Mm.
Well, no, it's 2, really. It's really it's 3. It's 3 con horror stories.
Oh.
So I've had, do we have time?
I was just about to say, probably got time for one more story, and then probably gonna go raid Shire.
Okay. So, I'll make this as quick as possible.
No worries.
So at 3 different conventions, I've had criminal activity happen right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well then.
And it's
One of
not...
them
It's nobody at the convention at all. It's people outside of the convention.
Well then.
Uh-oh.
And it's really crazy. So the first time it happened, I was outside, I was having a cigarette, and by the way, each time I tell this story, I'm outside either having a cigarette or walking, but I'm having a cigarette, and I'm talking with some friends, and a guy just runs out of the front door, and this is Anthrocon 2016. Guy runs out of the door, and is just like, "Hey, does any of you guys want to buy a TV?" And we're like, "No." "No, we're good." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So he runs to somebody else and he's trying to sell this TV. And we called the police on him because we're like, this is really fucking sketch.
Yeah.
Come to find out, he walked into some furry's room, grabbed a TV, ran outside to sell it so he could get a bus ticket.
What?
That's an actual thing that happened right in front of me while I'm having a cigarette. And so the police got him while he was down at the bus station, still trying to sell this TV.
How does...
What?
Okay, and then
Oh my god.
so then the second story, this was Anthrocon 2017. I'm outside
Oh,
having a
I actually
cigarette.
went to that one. I actually
Yeah.
went to that one.
So I'm outside having a cigarette, and I'm just sitting there just relaxing, and it was like 3 or 4 a.m. So there's nobody else out there other than me, and so I'm just sitting out there, and this lady comes up out of nowhere, and she's like, "Hey, you mind if I sit here for a while? You got a cigarette I can borrow?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like I don't have any problem with bumming cigarettes off, like handing cigarettes to people. There's no big issue." So the lady's just sitting there, and she's like telling me her life story. And I was like, "Oh, this chick's pretty cool." And then she's like, "So I moved after the." She's like explaining how she got to Pittsburgh. She's like, "But in all honesty, the main reason why I went to Pittsburgh is because my father is a Boston police officer who somebody tried to kill. So now I'm in Pennsylvania to try to find him and kill him."
Oh,
Okay then.
okay.
And I was like, "You sound like you need one more cigarette." I had another cigarette. I was like, "I'm getting the fuck out of here. This is weird."
Jesus Christ.
And then the last and final one is MFF 2017. No? Yeah.
Last year. Okay.
So I'm out. I was pretty far gone as far as drunk goes, and I had left like parts of my fursuit. No, it was 2016 because it snowed. So I had left like parts of my like fursuit stuff at in other people's rooms because I was at a bunch of different parties and people fell asleep. So I was like, well, okay. So I'm walking out with my partial on, and I had my legs on, but I was in socks because I left my shoes in my hotel room. And then I had arm sleeves on, but no hand paws because I left them in my friend's hotel room. And I didn't have my head because I left them in my friend's hotel room.
So you were fucking hardcore breaking the magic right there.
Oh, it's super breaking the magic. It's like 20 degrees.
It sounds like a fucking like murder mystery. It's like follow the trail of the Mark's box parts. Where has he gone?
So I'm walking and I'm having a cigarette and I'm on my phone and it's fucking freezing. I'm drunk as shit and I'm just trying to get back to my room and I hear somebody crying help.
Oh.
So I was like, oh fuck. So I threw the cigarette out and I started running towards where I heard the help from. Keep in mind, I'm running on snow with socks on, with random fursuit parts on, trying to answer this person's call for help. So I like finally arrive and there's just this guy. He's standing in the middle of the parking lot. He's screaming help and I'm like, hey man, what's wrong? He's like, I have to use your phone. Can I use your phone, please? And I was like, oh, okay. So I hand him my phone and he starts like calling a number and I'm like watching the whole time and the person's number he called didn't pick up because it's like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So he hangs up and he's like, do you mind if I call somebody else? I was like, yeah, go ahead. So he calls another number. They don't pick up. So then he's like, look, man, can I text somebody? And I was like, yeah, dude, it's fine. So he starts texting somebody. And then he decides to call one more person. And they didn't answer, so he left them a voicemail. And it's apparently his girlfriend. And he's like, honey, please, you need to come quickly. I just broke into this hotel, and they nearly caught me. I need you to come pick me up now. And I was like, oh, fuck. And so he hangs up the phone and he's like, can I use your Facebook Messenger? And I'm like,
No.
if you get me in trouble, I will shank you in prison. And he looks at me, he's like, here's your phone. And I'm like, bye. And I just like start fucking quick walking.
What is it with you bumping into these idiots?
I don't know. It's the weirdest thing.
What the actual hell?
But it was funny because I was literally at Majira's for a room party, so I get back to my room, but I didn't have a room key, and none of my roommates were awake, so I just kind of like sat there in the corner and was texting Majira like, dude, the craziest shit just fucking happened. I'm worried this guy's following me, like I'm freaking the fuck out, because I can't get into my room, and Majira's not answering his phone, and I still think this guy is following me, so I'm like, fuck.
After you told him the shanking thing, probably scared shitless.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot to say this as well. I also was like, I'm in the military. If you get me in trouble, I will shank you in prison. I forgot about that, but
Alright, fair enough.
I was really worried that he was following me because he was walking in the same direction. So I basically actually started running at some point because I was also drunk and very paranoid. So he's like, no, fuck this shit, and I just started.
Yeah,
running.
just get out of there. Just get out of there.
And I told the security guard at the door, I was like, look, there's apparently some dude who broke into some hotel who just used my phone. If he follows me in here, just fucking arrest him.
Fair enough. Alright, we are gonna have to call it there though. We've really gone over our usual timetable, but damn, it's been fun. It has been really fun. So, again, thank you, Marksbox, for turning up. I hope you actually enjoyed it on here.
Oh yeah, I had a great time.
Woo! Also, thank you very much to everybody else who like turned up for this stream, like all the new follows and freaking hosts and stuff. Like, thank you so much. You know, if you did enjoy and you know you want to see me at MFF, hit the donate button below. But no, it has been a fantastic week. Lovely to get back into the Furcast again. For those new people who have followed me, I usually do streams on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Sometimes over the weekend as well, but that's never a guarantee. But what is going to happen now, though, is we are going to raid one Shire the Cabot. So, once again, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this evening. Again, always thank you to Jero and, of course, Marksbox. Yeah, same time next week, basically. Let's see what stories I can dig up to make Jero rage, because that shit is always entertaining. Yes, more rage, more rage. But yeah, thank you very much, folks.
Next time, same.
Bye.